Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling smaller, mentally drained, or doubting yourself even though you did nothing wrong? That heavy feeling in your chest, the endless overthinking, the urge to explain or justify every decision. It's exhausting, and over time it slowly erodes your confidence. Toxic people don't always raise their voices or attack directly. Often, their influence comes through subtle remarks, passive-aggressive comments, or quiet manipulation that makes you question your own worth. You're not weak for feeling this way. It's human. But there is a way to regain control, protect your energy, and keep your head high without becoming rude or reactive. Stoic philosophy teaches that real respect begins within. It is grounded in clarity, virtue, and inner discipline. Today, we'll explore 5 powerful and practical ways to respect yourself in front of toxic people, so you can reclaim your peace, set firm boundaries, and leave any interaction with confidence and unshakable self-worth. 1. Establish clear internal boundaries. The first and most important step to respecting yourself around toxic people is creating strong internal boundaries. Too often, we fail to notice how much power we willingly hand over to others. Every word we allow to wound us, every comment we replay in our mind, every impulse to justify our choices to someone who doesn't deserve an explanation. Each of these moments quietly weakens our confidence and inner calm. Think about the last time you left a conversation feeling tense, anxious, or diminished despite doing nothing wrong. That lingering discomfort, the mental replay of their words, the self-doubt that follows. All of it stems from unclear internal boundaries. Toxic people thrive on this uncertainty. They feed on emotional reactions, mental engagement, and the need for validation to maintain influence. The moment you recognize this pattern, you take the first step toward reclaiming authority over your thoughts and emotions. Internal boundaries are not walls meant to isolate you. They are shields designed to protect your energy, clarity, and dignity. They define what you allow into your inner world and what you refuse to accept. A common mistake is treating these boundaries as optional. We tolerate repeated criticism, subtle manipulation, and passive-aggressive behavior because we feel obligated or fear being seen as selfish. Yet Stoicism teaches that preserving virtue, peace, and reason comes first. Seneca reminds us that a life guided by principle and self-respect cannot be sacrificed for the comfort or control of others. When this truth settles in, you begin to understand that your energy is finite, and whatever occupies your mind directly shapes your well-being. To build these boundaries, start by identifying interaction patterns that consistently leave you feeling drained. This might be a coworker who undermines your efforts, a family member who uses guilt as leverage, or a friend who subtly downplays your successes. Once you see these patterns clearly, decide how much mental and emotional space you are willing to give them. The key is intentional engagement. You can choose to interact in ways that preserve your dignity, or you can step back from dynamics that slowly wear it down. This is not avoidance. It is conscious prioritization of your inner life. A practical tool for this is journaling. Each day, write down moments when you felt provoked, manipulated, or emotionally exhausted. Note your natural reaction, then write an alternative response that respects your boundaries. Maybe you usually respond with defensiveness or excessive explanation. The Stoic response is to pause, observe, and decide whether a reply is even necessary, or if silence and composure better protect your energy. This habit sharpens self-awareness, strengthens emotional resilience, and trains you to respond deliberately instead of reacting automatically. Emotional discipline is the foundation of internal boundaries. Toxic individuals often target emotional triggers because reactions reveal vulnerability. Anger, frustration, or guilt signals that they still have access to your mental state. By cultivating a calm, observant mind, you remove their leverage. Each time you resist an impulsive reaction, each time you acknowledge provocation without allowing it to dictate your behavior, you reinforce the inner structure that safeguards your peace. Over time, this creates psychological immunity to manipulation and strengthens genuine self-respect. Another crucial element is clarity about your personal values. Toxic people test limits to see whether you will compromise what you stand for. When your principles are clearly defined, they become a steady reference point in every interaction. For example, if punctuality matters to you, consistently enforcing it in meetings sends a clear message that your time is not negotiable. If emotional manipulation appears, calmly acknowledging it without over-explaining makes it clear that your integrity is not up for discussion. These internal reference points guide your behavior and help preserve self-respect regardless of the provocations around you. Limiting mental and emotional exposure works hand in hand with internal boundaries. Understand this clearly. You cannot control other people, but you can control how much access they have to you. Reduce interactions that consistently drain your energy. This may mean fewer social commitments, firmer limits on digital communication, or intentional pauses before responding. Each of these choices protects your energy while reinforcing a powerful truth: your inner life is yours to govern. Every act of deliberate disengagement becomes an act of self-respect, showing both yourself and others that your time, focus, and peace are not negotiable. Establishing internal boundaries is not a one-time decision. It is an ongoing practice. You will face resistance, discomfort, and self-doubt. Toxic individuals may test you, provoke reactions, or attempt to regain control. These moments are not setbacks. They are opportunities to strengthen discipline. Each time you remain composed, uphold your principles, and protect your energy, you reinforce the habit of inner sovereignty. Gradually, your inner fortress strengthens, your clarity sharpens, and your self-respect becomes harder to shake. By defining what you will accept, limiting what drains you, and standing firmly in your values, you build a foundation of unassailable self-respect. Internal boundaries allow you to move through any interaction without losing composure or dignity. You reclaim authority over your mind, your energy, and your life. In essence, self-respect does not begin with words, reactions, or others' approval. It begins with intentional, disciplined, and principled control of your inner world. Once this foundation is set, it supports every other strategy: silence, measured speech, strategic exposure, and grounded presence, creating a resilient, empowered, and unbreakable self. 2. Use silence as power. The second strategy for respecting yourself in front of toxic people is simple in theory, but difficult in practice. Master the use of silence. At first, this feels unnatural. When someone undermines you, provokes you, or belittles your choices, every instinct pushes you to defend yourself, explain your position, or strike back. Your heart races, your mind floods with arguments, and your body prepares to respond. It feels as though staying silent will make you appear weak, unheard, or disrespected. But this reaction is exactly what toxic people depend on. They thrive on emotional responses. They test limits, provoke tension, and pull you into conflicts that leave you drained. Every reaction gives them a portion of your energy. Every justification, every defensive explanation, every sharp reply strengthens their influence over your inner state. Silence reverses this dynamic entirely. When you choose not to react, when you resist delivering the response you rehearsed in your head, you take power back. Silence is not passivity. It is an active, deliberate choice. It communicates, "I am not your pawn. I will not participate in a battle that exists only to satisfy your need to provoke or dominate." Imagine a coworker interrupting you during a meeting, cutting you off with sarcasm. The automatic response is to push back, justify your point, or assert your authority. Instead, you pause, you breathe, you allow silence to occupy the space. Your expression remains calm, your posture stays steady. You do not glare or react emotionally. In that moment, your presence speaks louder than words. The person who attempted to destabilize you feels the shift. Your stillness denies them the reaction they sought and forces them to face their own behavior. This approach is deeply Stoic. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is wrong, I will gladly change, but I am not disturbed by insults." The lesson is control. You cannot govern others' behavior, but you can govern your response. Silence allows you to reclaim authority over your mind. It creates distance from emotional entanglement, preserves your energy, and keeps your judgment clear. Each pause, Each moment of restraint reinforces the boundaries established earlier and turns internal discipline into visible strength. From a psychological perspective, toxic behavior often escalates because it feeds on external reactions. Anger, frustration, and defensiveness validate the tactic and keep the cycle alive. Silence breaks this loop. It removes the reward. You may feel discomfort at first. Your body expects engagement. Your thoughts rush to defend. This tension is normal. It signals growth. Each time you resist the urge to react, you strengthen emotional resilience and train yourself to respond intentionally rather than impulsively. Applying this strategy requires conscious effort. First, when confronted with toxic behavior, pause deliberately. Count to 3. Focus on your breathing. Shift attention inward rather than toward the provocation. Second, observe without judgment. Notice what was said or done. Recognize the intent, but do not let it dictate your response. Third, decide intentionally. Ask whether speaking will preserve dignity or whether silence will serve you better. More often than not, silence proves to be the stronger choice over time. Silence also communicates confidence externally. When someone expects a reaction and receives none, their assumptions are disrupted. They begin to question whether their tactics are effective, and the balance of power quietly shifts in your favor. Meanwhile, your aura of calm authority begins to grow. This is not about intimidation. It is about presence. It is the quiet but unmistakable signal that you are not shaken by manipulation, drama, or negativity. That presence naturally earns respect, both from those who try to test you and from anyone observing the interaction. Silence is not passivity or avoidance. It is not a refusal to take responsibility or address real issues. It is a deliberate, strategic choice that protects your energy, sharpens your focus, and projects strength. In every interaction, you are teaching yourself and others a clear lesson. Your value, dignity, and inner peace cannot be taken by words, insults, or subtle provocations. Each time you choose silence over reaction, you reinforce sovereignty over your mind and reaffirm your commitment to self-respect. To bring this into daily life, start small. In meetings, conversations with difficult friends, or family exchanges, practice the silent pause. Breathe, observe, and speak only when necessary, with clarity and calm. Apply the same discipline to texts and emails. When provoked digitally, resist the urge to respond immediately. Every small moment of silence becomes a rehearsal for emotional mastery. Over time, it becomes instinctive. You are no longer a reactive participant in other people's drama. You become composed, grounded, and self-respecting. In essence, silence is both a shield and a statement. It protects your energy, reinforces boundaries, and communicates strength without aggression. In a world where toxic behavior is common, mastering silence is one of the most powerful ways to respect yourself. It allows you to remain steady when others try to unsettle you, preserves your dignity, and ensures that no one, no matter how manipulative or critical, can weaken your sense of self. Through this practice, you reclaim control of your inner life and project a presence that commands respect naturally and without effort. 3. Speak only what matters. The third principle of respecting yourself in front of toxic people is simple in concept, but deeply transformative. Speak only what matters. In moments of confrontation or subtle manipulation, the instinct is to justify, defend, or explain yourself. You feel pressure to prove your choices are valid, your intentions are clean, and your worth is undeniable. This urge is human. We are conditioned to believe that being understood equals being valued. But around toxic individuals, this instinct becomes a trap. Every explanation, every long defense, every attempt to convince someone of your worth hands power to those who thrive on emotional control. It shifts your peace away from self-governance and places it in the hands of others. Notice how often this plays out. A friend questions your decision to leave a job or end a relationship. The tone is subtle but loaded. Your mind rushes to assemble reasons, arguments, and justifications. You rehearse explanations, fearing that without them your credibility or moral standing will be doubted. But pause and reflect. Who actually benefits from this flood of words? Not you. The more you explain, the more energy you invest in a battle that serves only the person feeding on your emotional engagement. Stoicism reminds us that our worth does not depend on being understood or approved of. It rests on virtue, clarity, and alignment with our principles, independent of external validation. Speaking only what matters requires discipline. Before responding, ask yourself, is this necessary? Does this protect my values, my clarity, or my peace? If the answer is no, the words can remain unsaid. You are not obligated to justify every choice, defend every boundary, or prove your intentions. Brevity often communicates more than lengthy explanations. When a colleague undermines your work in a meeting, a calm and concise response like, "I understand your point, this is my approach," carries far more weight than an emotional defense. It conserves energy, preserves authority, and signals self-respect. Stoic thinkers understood the power of measured speech. Epictetus reminded us that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen more than we speak. Listening, observing, and choosing words carefully ensures your speech is intentional, not reactive. In the presence of toxic behavior, this principle becomes protection. It keeps you out of emotional skirmishes, manipulation, and unnecessary explanations. By speaking only what matters, you maintain control of the interaction and refuse to hand power to someone who feeds on your agitation. The psychological effect is significant. When you stop over-explaining, you reclaim mental and emotional space. Your mind no longer loops through justifications or imagined rebuttals. Instead, it stays focused on clarity, discernment, and action aligned with your values. Toxic people who are used to provoking reactions suddenly find themselves without a lever to pull. They may escalate, probe further, or grow frustrated. That frustration belongs to them, not you. Your calm, measured communication becomes a clear demonstration of sovereignty over your inner state. In practical terms, developing this skill requires preparation and awareness. Before entering situations with known toxic individuals, identify the topics or triggers that usually provoke you. Decide in advance which points truly matter and which are irrelevant to your purpose or peace. Use concise statements, neutral language, and an intentional tone. Speak slowly and deliberately, pausing to breathe before responding. This small discipline trains your words to reflect strength rather than reactivity. With time, this habit becomes automatic. You speak when it serves clarity and remain silent when speech would only feed toxicity. Speaking only what matters does not mean avoiding responsibility or ignoring wrongdoing. It is not passive avoidance. It is a deliberate and courageous choice to invest energy in meaningful communication rather than emotional conflict. When your words are measured, thoughtful, and aligned with your principles, they carry weight. They reflect respect for yourself and preserve the integrity of the interaction, even when the other person's behavior invites chaos. By mastering this approach, you achieve several outcomes at once. First, you protect your energy and maintain inner stability. Second, you reinforce boundaries without confrontation or hostility. Third, you project authority and self-respect to both the toxic individual and those observing. Finally, you cultivate a deep internal confidence rooted in the knowledge that your value does not depend on others' perceptions or judgments. Each interaction becomes a practice in presence, restraint, and inner discipline. Toxic people often seek to distract, provoke, and unsettle. When you speak only what matters, you deny them leverage. You preserve your dignity and communicate a quiet but unshakable strength. You show that your worth is grounded not in reaction, but in principle, not in defense, but in clarity, not in approval, but in alignment with your values. Over time, this reshapes the dynamic entirely. Toxic individuals either adjust their behavior when reactions disappear, or you naturally distance yourself from those who cannot respect your boundaries. Speaking only what matters is not merely a tactic. It is a way to reclaim your voice, your energy, and your self-respect, expressing power without aggression, influence without hostility, and integrity without compromise. 4. Limit exposure strategically. The fourth step in respecting yourself around toxic people is to limit exposure with intention. Many people remain in toxic environments out of habit, obligation, or fear of confrontation. Mistaking endurance for virtue, they attend gatherings that drain them, engage in conversations that create anxiety, and respond to messages that leave them exhausted, all because they feel they must. Over time, this constant exposure erodes self-respect, weakens confidence, and quietly diminishes inner peace. Toxic individuals feed not only on reactions, but also on presence. They benefit when they occupy your time, attention, and energy. Stoicism reminds us that self-respect requires deliberate control over our personal sphere, including the people and environments we allow into our lives. Consider the cumulative impact of exposure. A coworker repeatedly takes credit for your work, subtly undermining your efforts. A family member injects guilt or criticism into every interaction. A friend constantly complains, draining your energy and amplifying stress. These moments are not isolated. They accumulate, shaping your mood, influencing decisions, and even affecting physical well-being. Tolerance often comes from the mistaken belief that limiting contact is weak or selfish. In reality, choosing to reduce exposure is an act of courage. It is a conscious declaration that your energy, attention, and mental space are valuable and will not be sacrificed to maintain appearances, avoid discomfort, or meet unrealistic expectations. Limiting exposure strategically does not mean cutting everyone off or avoiding all difficulty. It means discerning where your presence is necessary, beneficial, or aligned with your values, and where it is not. Begin by identifying interactions that consistently leave you feeling drained, anxious, or disrespected. These environments disrupt inner balance. Then decide how to engage or disengage in ways that protect your boundaries without unnecessary conflict. This may involve reducing the frequency of meetings with certain coworkers, setting clear time limits on social interactions, or stepping back from digital spaces that trigger agitation. The guiding principle is intentionality. Every adjustment is a deliberate effort to preserve energy and reinforce self-respect. One of the most powerful effects of limiting exposure is the clarity it creates. When toxic interactions are reduced, mental space opens. You can observe relationships objectively instead of reacting emotionally. You begin to see which interactions support and align with your values, and which ones quietly undermine your confidence. This awareness empowers you to make choices not from fear, obligation, or social pressure, but from intention. Stoic wisdom emphasizes this distinction clearly. While external circumstances are often beyond our control, our engagement with them always remains within our authority. Limiting exposure strategically is a direct application of this principle in everyday life. Emotionally, this practice can be difficult. Toxic individuals rarely adapt easily when you reduce access to your time or energy. They may attempt guilt, manipulation, or provocation to regain control. You may feel fear, doubt, or discomfort. These reactions are natural when long-standing patterns begin to break. Recognize them as signs of growth rather than failure. Each uncomfortable moment is proof that you are no longer operating on autopilot or reacting to external pressure, but acting in alignment with your values. Over time, maintaining this stance strengthens inner resilience and teaches others that your boundaries are firm, clear, and non-negotiable. Limiting exposure also strengthens the other strategies you have learned. When combined with internal boundaries, silence, and speaking only what matters, it creates a system of self-protection that is both proactive and sustainable. Internal boundaries define what you tolerate. Silence prevents unnecessary energy loss. Measured speech maintains clarity and authority. Strategic exposure ensures you are present only where your energy is respected and preserved. Together, these practices transform interactions from draining cycles into intentional, controlled exchanges where dignity and influence remain intact. To apply this practically, review your week. Notice interactions that leave you anxious, frustrated, or depleted. Make small adjustments. Reduce time spent in toxic group chats. Skip optional gatherings that consistently drain you. Step back from online spaces that invite constant conflict. When necessary, communicate boundaries calmly and clearly, such as, "I'm not able to engage in this conversation today," or "I need to step back from this interaction for my own clarity." This is not avoidance. It is choosing engagement wisely. Each decision reinforces self-respect and signals that your presence is intentional, not a reflexive response to external demands. Ultimately, limiting exposure strategically is about preserving sovereignty over your inner life. It is a declaration that your time, energy, and peace have value and are not open to negotiation. Toxic individuals who rely on manipulation gradually lose influence when your presence becomes deliberate instead of automatic. You may encounter resistance or discomfort, but this is the cost of self-respect and a marker of meaningful growth. By choosing where to invest your attention and energy, you reclaim control over your life and affirm that your inner state is yours to govern. This disciplined practice of engagement and disengagement is not merely defensive. It is an act of empowerment, clarity, and courage, one of the most effective ways to command respect and preserve dignity in any toxic environment. 5. Stand tall and hold your ground. The fifth and final step in respecting yourself around toxic people is standing tall and holding your ground. It sounds simple, yet it is one of the most powerful tools you have. Toxic individuals often try to reduce your presence through subtle signals, a dismissive tone, a raised eyebrow, or an attempt to make you feel small in front of others. They thrive on uncertainty, on weakening both your posture and your confidence until doubt creeps in. When you feel the urge to shrink, to apologize unnecessarily, or to falter, remember this: your body communicates boundaries before your words ever do. A straight back, relaxed shoulders, steady breathing, and calm eye contact are not just posture. They are signals of presence, authority, and self-respect. Think back to a time when someone tried to belittle you in a meeting or casual conversation. Did your posture collapse? Did your gaze drop? Did your voice lose firmness? That loss of presence amplifies the other person's influence. In contrast, when you stand tall, shoulders back, head level, voice calm and measured, you reclaim power instantly. Your posture communicates that you are grounded, steady, and resistant to manipulation. It is a visible declaration that you will not be diminished, that your inner authority remains intact, and that your self-respect is not open to compromise. This principle is deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that virtue is not only something we hold internally, but something we express through action. Holding your ground physically reflects inner stability. What you project outward reinforces your inner discipline and shapes how others perceive and engage with you. Toxic individuals who are used to triggering fear, defensiveness, or submission are confronted by someone who refuses to yield. Your calm, confident presence disrupts their attempts at control. They may test you, escalate, or provoke, but your posture and demeanor establish a boundary they cannot cross without revealing their own instability. Standing tall requires more than physical awareness. It demands emotional courage. Feeling anxiety, hesitation, or self-doubt when asserting yourself is natural, especially around those who thrive on dominance. These sensations are signs that you are stepping into discomfort, and discomfort is where growth lives. Acknowledge these feelings without judgment and let them strengthen your resolve to remain composed. Each time you hold your ground, you build resilience. Your energy is no longer spent reacting to toxicity, but preserved for clarity, calm, and purpose. Practical application begins with small, deliberate actions. During conversations, consciously straighten your posture and slow your breathing before you speak. In tense moments, remind yourself quietly, "I am grounded. My presence commands respect." Simple mirror practice can also help. Spend a few minutes each day practicing calm eye contact and measured speech. Over time, these behaviors become automatic. They signal to your body, your mind, and others that you are steady, that your boundaries are firm, and that your self-respect is not negotiable. Standing tall is not about aggression or intimidation. It is about presence, dignity, and authority rooted in inner virtue. It is a quiet, unwavering signal that you will not bend to manipulation, that your peace matters, and that your energy is yours to govern. When posture, composure, and awareness work together, you communicate self-respect in a way words alone never could. This completes the 5-part framework for maintaining self-respect in the face of toxic behavior: internal boundaries, silence, measured speech, strategic exposure, and grounded presence. Together, they form a fortress that protects your energy, resists manipulation, and allows you to move through even difficult interactions with clarity, courage, and dignity. We've explored 5 powerful ways to respect yourself in front of toxic people: setting clear internal boundaries, using silence as strength, speaking only what matters, limiting exposure with intention, and standing tall with an unshakable presence. Each strategy helps you reclaim energy, protect inner peace, and assert self-worth without aggression or compromise. These are not quick fixes. They are deliberate practices that demand awareness, courage, and consistency. Start small today. Notice one moment where you pause instead of reacting. Speak only what is necessary. Adjust your posture and presence. Over time, these small actions compound into deep self-respect and resilience, transforming not only how others treat you, but how you see yourself. Thank you for investing in your inner strength and growth. That commitment itself is a true expression of Stoic discipline. Keep applying these principles. Watch how interactions change. Return daily to strengthen your inner fortress. Stay grounded, stay disciplined, and remember, your respect begins with you.